Hello Outcasts and other viewers, welcome to another commentary video. So I wanted to talk about a game that I've wanted for quite some time now, and that game is the best Star Wars game, and that game would be like one where it focuses more on lightsaber combat / dueling, that sort of thing. There are a lot of Star Wars games out there, all good in their own way, but none of them are really perfect because they all have their own flaws as well as that. For example, Battlefront, that focuses on what it's like to be a soldier, like either with the rebels or as the Imperials, the stormtroopers. And obviously they have heroes or villains in there, but they aren't very true to the sort of lore that the game is. And it's not like that's a bad thing, but it's because it's not the focus of what the game's supposed to be. It's supposed to be set based on the normal soldiers that you play as in the game. On the other hand, things like Force Unleashed focuses on being a Sith apprentice, which obviously who turns against Vader, who is his master. There are a lot of different ways of approaching combat, either with force powers or lightsaber abilities. You can use different combos and things like that to defeat your enemies. But you don't very often get to fight either Jedi or Sith. You do at the end of most levels, you get to fight one. But you don't really get an idea of the fighting style because you're mainly just clicking as much as you can and using as many force abilities as you can whilst blocking their attacks. That's all you really get to do. You don't really get to see any fighting styles in there at all. It's mainly just a lot of flailing, and you don't get an idea of what fighting styles each character uses and it's like that in pretty much every Star Wars game I've ever seen. You never really get to see fighting styles. You never get to see different ways of fighting each other with lightsabers or the Force. Now there's Jedi Knight, which is the Jedi Academy one, is one I've played. Quite an old game. I didn't really finish it. I never really got to the end of it. I just sort of fell off of it. But that one focuses on the opposite of Force Unleashed. Instead of being a Sith apprentice, you're a Jedi apprentice, training with people like Luke Skywalker. It's similar to Force Unleashed, but it isn't really the same, because it's obviously older, and I can't really remember too much on it, but it's mainly just you learning to become a better Jedi, where in Force Unleashed it's you becoming a better Sith Lord, or a dark side apprentice who use both the light and the dark in the end. So they are very similar but not quite the same. What I really want is a game that focuses on how to become more powerful as you go on. You do lots of different training, whether you're on the light side or the dark side. A combat style that is similar to Chivalry. If you guys know what Chivalry is, you probably don't if you're just a regular subscriber, because basically Chivalry is a game about sword fighting and dueling, in that they do actually have a dueling feature. But what I would like is one where it's similar to that, but obviously at the pace that is in the films, because in the films they actually have very accurate combat, they actually show the fighting styles of the different characters. The reason why I want a game like this is because all the Jedi have there's so many different fighting styles that they all have. As some of you will know that are really into Star Wars, there are actually 7 different fighting styles that all of the Force users used, but none of them really are highlighted in any of the games, like I said. So I really want to see one where they highlight these things, because I think it'll be really different than what we're used to. What I would want is a game where you can create your own character, so you have a character creator where you can customize the way they look, whether they're on the light or dark side. I imagine a lot of people will probably use the dark side because generally they're more powerful. You can choose what fighting style they have, because obviously there's 7 different ones. Some are more defensive than others, some of them are more aggressive, that sort of thing. So I think something like that would be very cool, and then those sort of options would change the way that you use the Force, and what sort of powers you would have, what abilities you would have, how you would fight in dueling, because it would always give you a different sort of fight, depending on who you go against. And obviously you can progress, you can go through training, you can become a master, that sort of thing. I think a game like that would be seriously cool. And obviously if you die, you die, so you really want to sort of stay alive. So that's why dueling, you can always have the option to run away. It wouldn't just be a mode where suddenly you're fighting to the death, because obviously if a character that dies and you die, then it wouldn't work. So one where it's like an open world, like a story based one. A story based wouldn't be necessary for a dueling game like this. If they just had a game where you just choose this is what fighting style I want to have, and this is what sort of side, light or dark, that I want to be on. You know, if those were the two options he had, that would be, you know, fine. But a story that would make it more interesting, like some sort of MMO that had that feature, maybe not an MMO, but just a multiplayer game where you change servers, would be very, very cool. A game like, for example, like Skyrim, and if it had co-op, you know, it's like an RPG that's open world, but maybe if it was multiplayer and you could fight against other players, that would be very cool. Or at least AI, something like that. But if it did have a good story, I mean, that would completely just destroy my social life. I mean, I don't know if a game like that exists at the moment, but I mean, at least I don't think there's any new ones, because I probably would have heard about it. But anyways, I want to know your opinion on this topic. If there is a game out there, again, like I said, let me know. But would you want to see a game like this where it's like focuses on proper like lightsaber combat? I'd be really interested to hear if, you know, other people have the same opinions as I do, because I really want to have a game where you can have epic duels with other players in the Star Wars universe. I'm pretty sure there'd be other people that want to see something like that, at least, where there's at least really cool battles you can have. I personally want to see one where you have different fighting styles and things like that. I think it would be a very, very awesome game if there was one. Anyways, that was today's video. I've been Robust, and I will see you in the next video.